So we do have a webcam that you can come and play with before we get into the main session, and you guys can start that if you want to. You've all got the ability to be able to go and do that and try that out if you want to. I'll come off webcam, but I'll come back onto it a little bit later on, so you can all go and have a play with that. Also, what we've got up on the top left-hand corner, just a little festive question to get us going. What games do you play? Let's go and have a look back at that question about games playing at Christmas. We've got card games, charades, Cluedo. Nikki, hello Nikki, lovely to have you here. And Nikki, do try out that webcam if you want to give it a go. Nikki says Monopoly, although we have to have a time limit, otherwise we go on for days. Yeah, I bet you do. Nikki, is your family like a traditional Monopoly kind of place? Or do you go in for any of the new versions? Oh, I've thought of another one that we love as well, which is Trivial Pursuit. All the different questions. And my mum always says, oh, I don't know the answer. Is it maybe Blue Rhinoceros? And suddenly she's magically got the answer. So I don't quite know how that happens, but maybe it's just age and wisdom. Let's call it that. And Debbie says Cards Against Humanity. Debbie, I would never have thought that of you. She is so sweet and innocent and lovely. I would not have thought of that. Debbie, I'm appalled. Okay, so I think it's about time we got started on our main Christmas section this year. We are recording the webinar. All of our webinar recordings are available online, including
the TJwow Christmas Party.
You can go back to those at any time. Here we go.
The TJwow Christmas Party.
Oh yes, ho ho ho, and welcome to our Christmas party. If you've been on any of our webinars before, you know this is me. My name is Jo Cook. I am the Deputy Editor. This is a picture of me at our awards ceremony that we had very recently, and I thought it was sufficiently Christmassy to share again. Lovely quote here from Raf Costa, who says, fun is just another word for learning. And I think if you can get fun into learning in some fashion, that's a good thing. There was a big debate at Online Educa about this a little bit earlier on this month, but that was kind of being quite prescriptive in saying, well, it has to be all learning is all fun. And we know that that's probably a little bit of a challenge. Now we've got the chat window. Please do use that with each other. Let each other know your Twitter handles, your questions, your comments, your Christmas stories, whatever it might be. And of course, join us on Twitter. Go and tweet some pictures, some thoughts, some ideas under #TJwow, and let's get some Christmas cheer shared out with absolutely everybody. As I said, the session is being recorded. You can go and grab any of those anytime. And now, do you know what? I think pretty much it's going to be over to you, because it's you that puts the fun into this session. Okay, in which case I think we need to go and have a look first of all at just what are some of the highlights of your year so far. So we're going to use the drawing tool for this. Go and have a play with this. You just need to be able to click onto the T-text tool. So it's on your screen, the T-text tool. Now some of you are on a mobile device, so you won't be able to have the T-text tool. But if you do, just click T-text, type in Joe or whatever your actual name is. You don't have to type in Joe if you don't want to. Now, if you are using a mobile device, you won't have the text tool. So what you can just do is you can use the pen tool if you want to. Somebody's typed in Joe, haha, thank you. All right, you've run a webinar all on your own then. So do go and have a practice with that text tool, or go and have a practice with that pen tool if you want to. It can be good fun. So use the T-text tool. Go and type something on the screen. Let's just make sure that that is working okay, because we want to be able to share some ideas and share some thoughts in the next section. And you know what, if it doesn't work, absolutely no problem, because what you can do is you can just use the chat window if you prefer. So let's go into our question, into what we've got going on here on the whiteboard, and just let us know, what's your highlight of 2018 from an L&D perspective? So it could be something really personal achievement for you. It could be something in the industry. Just let us know what your personal highlight is. And John, I'm going to come to John Kennard in just a moment. I'm going to prepare him before I pounce and see what his L&D highlight is from a TJ perspective and also from a personal perspective. So I'll get him on the audio in just a moment. I'd really love to hear what your highlights were yourself. So what I'm going to do is just play a little bit. Let me just pause that music. If you want to keep on writing, please do. You're more than welcome to go and add a few more things in there. What have we got? TJwow are good. Well, thank you very much. We've got more coming next year. There's somebody who's passed a CIPD qualification. Well done. That's pretty awesome. At the top here, we've got reconnecting with some L&D people I hadn't worked with for some time. You know who you are. The TJ Awards 2018 Gala Dinner, a great evening and so many worthy winners. Well, that's absolutely lovely to say. Thank you very much. Towards the bottom, we've got attending the Learning Tech Conference for the first time and meeting loads of passionate L&D people. That's brilliant. And things like conferences, unconferences, get-togethers, they can be really good ways to get to broaden your network and pick up some new things. Somebody's put here running a course with senior managers. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. And somebody's also put, it looks like OEB to me, I think is what it is. So Online Educa Berlin. So maybe it's one of you who've got out there as well. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. John, let's get you unmuted and come back to you and say, well, what has been your highlight, both from a TJ point of view, but also from the point of view of yourself? Although I've just read you, there's some drilling going on. And come back to you in a second. You know, best laid plans always go to go kind of completely pot-bellied. So never mind. So yes, we will come back to you in a moment, John, or do just unmute and interrupt. I think what the next thing is we can go on to, which is a bit of a segue from what your highlight was, is all about the idea of failure. One of our failures is drilling in the background, obviously. And I'd like you to think about this because there's been quite a few things that have happened this year that have really been focused on removing the stigma from learning from failure. I've contributed to a fishbowl event. Bethany Taylor and I wrote an article for TJ about this. Happy Henry in the magazine writes about this a lot of the time, and there's been quite a lot about it in the L&D sector, is learning from our mistakes. So again, I'm going to be a little bit quiet, I'm going to bring in some music again. And could you just have a think? What are your thoughts about this and share them? It could be a story. It could be that you want to kind of disagree with it. So again, let's just be quiet for a moment and share some thoughts and see what you come up with. Debbie. So let's just pause that music and let's come to see what you think, and then we'll see if John's around. We'll see if we can come to Debbie and have a chat about this. So let me just make my text a little bit bigger so my poor old Christmas eyes can read this. Barbara says it's such an important part of the process of learning. You're right. Mark says I made keywords in, I think you're typing on a tablet there, aren't you, Mark? I made mistakes, I'm assuming you said, in my manager training program this year. But it's okay as we all learn from it. I'm assuming that's what you mean, Mark, and if it's otherwise, let me know. Speaking of mistakes, but I think that's just you're on a tablet, so no worries there. Nikki says, I keep being laughed at because I say I'm waiting for something to go wrong. I've been in my new role for just over a year and only get good feedback. I can't be perfect and there has to be some failings so I can learn from them. Apparently, I'm crazy to be looking. Oh, Nikki, gosh, such mixed things there. Nikki, you able to come onto microphone today? If you are, please unmute and let's say hello and have a chat. And if not, absolutely no problem. We could use the chat window. That's what it's there for. Are you there, Nikki? You able to come on and unmute? It's at the top left corner of the screen, just in case you've never done it before. We'll come back to you, Nikki, just in case you're having problems. Pia says, if we don't ever make mistakes, how do we know what is right or wrong? Well said. And Debbie says mistakes should be celebrated. The biggest innovations come from mistakes. Think Post-its, cornflakes, penicillin. Well said. So Debbie, let's come to you. Let's get you unmuted and actually kind of have a chat about what's here. And I've got a picture of Debbie here, appropriately with a turkey hat on. So Debbie, what are you thinking about what you can see here?
What, my photo or mistakes?
I meant the writing. Everybody else can comment on the photo.
All right. I think I look a bit like Brunhilde, but we won't go there. Mistakes. Yeah, I mean, mistakes are the things that we do all the time while we're practicing to be good at something, aren't they? If you can't get up and move on and learn from each error you make, you're never going to become really good at anything, because the greatest athletes are people who are constantly trying to improve. So, okay, not exactly making mistakes, but improving performance. And I think it was Malcolm Gladwell who said that you have to make 10,000 mistakes before you actually can do something as an expert. So it takes an awfully long time to refine your skills at anything. So mistakes are always going to be part of that. And then also, big mistakes that we make at work, they draw us back. They make us reflect on what we do. Often, for me, it's usually doing something in a hurry, sending out an email quickly without looking at it, and then realising I've sent it to the wrong person, which I've done. John will tell you that. I sent him texts by mistake because I thought I was emailing my daughter, but fortunately it was just John, so that was fine. So yeah, we all make mistakes, and we have to kind of laugh about them a little bit and learn from them a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is kind of Nikki's point. So let's bring Nikki into our conversation. Let's see if we can get you unmuted, Nikki. So I think you're unmuted, Nikki. Say hello. Oh, we're not hearing you, my love. We'll try one more thing, and then, and if not, we will just stick to the text. What you need to do is have a look at your audio setup wizard. So I'll pop the notes into the chat for you and have a play with that. John, let's bring you in on this question about kind of learning from failure, and Nikki's point here about asking for that feedback.
Hello, Joe. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Lovely. Yeah, so, well, just to echo what everyone else has said, really, and it's definitely one of my themes of the year, is that failure appears to be becoming more acceptable and also almost essential, because as Debbie says in the chat, examples of innovations which have come through either by failure or by accident. And it's just nice to see this being embraced and highlighted, and that it isn't a matter of pride, and it isn't a matter of I don't know, just it's more a matter of honesty, and like you say, this is how we grow, and this is how we learn, and this is how we change for the better, I think. And it's certainly one of my the L&D things that I've liked, I've appreciated this year, along with curiosity as well, which is something I've heard a lot about at events, and maybe comes together with failure as well, you know. Being curious, maybe getting it wrong, but keeping an open mind about things, and hopefully sort of learning and changing after that. Do you want me to talk about TJ things that have been good?
Yeah, go ahead. And Nikki, let's have a chat to Nikki first, and then we'll come back to
No
that,
worries.
John. Nikki, are you there? Is it working? Oh, no, Nikki, we still can't hear you. Okay, Nikki, no worries. Thanks for trying. Really sad that we can't hear you. But I think to your point, it doesn't want to play, does it, Nikki? Never mind, never mind. I think you're absolutely right. It's awesome to get that good feedback. And most people love the good feedback, and it can make us feel good. And then we know what we need to be continuing to do. But you are right. Sadly, as wonderful as you are, Nikki, you're not perfect, and none of us are. And you do need to find those things. And maybe it's about who you need to ask, and maybe about how you're asking or getting that feedback. So that's perhaps something to think about. So John, let's come back to you. I think we were talking about the highlights. So let's come back to you and see, what were your TJ highlights? What were your personal L&D highlights? So John, let's just get you off mute and have a chat about those highlights, unless the drilling has just started again.
Sorry, I think I may have double tapped mute and muted myself again. Here we go. So my TJ highlights. We relaunched YouTube, so that's quite exciting. That's something to look forward to for next year. We are approaching 20,000 plays on our SoundCloud page. So podcasts have been a very important part of what we do and how we get interesting conversations and interviews out to people this year, and that's going to continue next year. So I've really enjoyed seeing that grow. We've got some interesting partnerships which I will sort of keep cards close to my chest at the moment, but I'm quite excited about 2019. We've got a new CEO in our parent company, Dodds, which I think is going to make a big difference to the things we do digitally, which I'm really excited about too. And not so much work related, but something that was quite fun and for a good cause is I was asked to be part of the LPI charity calendar this year, which was a very funny experience indeed. So that was good.
You dressed up in lots of different wigs and stuff, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for that. We will come back to you throughout our Christmas party, I'm absolutely sure. And speaking of it being a Christmas party, what kind of Christmas party would we have if we didn't have Christmas cracker jokes? Let me bring my webcam back on the screen again. One of the things that I did yesterday, or was it the day before, is I put out on Twitter and said, well, come on, guys, what are our really poor quality cracker jokes that we can have, but all about the L&D industry or us as people or our profession? And I got a few jokes back. Some of them not even Christmas cracker level, I don't think. But some of them were actually really quite good fun. I want to share those with you now and then see if we can come up with some other jokes in a moment at the end. So let me share the first one with you here. This is from Ross Garner from Good Practice. He says, will you pull my cracker? Oh, I'm not really much of a push style trainer. What do you reckon? In the chat window, boo or yay? Is that a good one or not? I'm not convinced on that one, but it was the first one, so I was really pleased with Ross that he'd put that through. So let us know whether you think that's a boo or a yay of a Christmas cracker joke. Nikki says boo, sorry Ross. And Pia says boo, and Debbie says I like it. Well, I'm sure he'll be glad to know that somebody does. This is one from Cara North, who was at Ohio State University, She says, why did the training scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. I thought I quite like that, especially during award season. I thought that was pretty good. John saying boo. Oh, never mind. Mark's loving it and Debbie's going no. Oh, you see, I thought it was going to get it because it was an award link. And Nikki's saying, I quite like that. Well, there you go. It's all different types of humour, isn't it? Obviously, I like this one. How many trainers does it take to change a light bulb? It depends. Have we considered changing the environment around the light bulb first? And Ned says, well, it's not funny, but you get the idea. I actually quite like that one, but I'm a little bit biased about the whole light bulb thing. There was a few more that followed that on Twitter that were quite good. So you can just go and have a look at that thread on Twitter if you want to. What about this one? I've just come back from a training course on how ships are held together. It was riveting. My stepdad's an engineer, so actually I really like that one. Or is that a bit too cheesy for you? You let me know what you think. Was that one a bit too cheesy? Is it too pun-tastic for being in this kind of Christmas cracker joke? Or was it just about right? Debbie says, it's how you tell them. Oh, gosh, now that's an old comic kind of saying, isn't it, Debbie? I can't even remember who said that. So we've got one more here. Why is doing a marathon like organising a co-facilitated workshop? For both, you need a good pair of trainers. Ah! And Anthony's put, hashtag, I'm here all week. So I quite like this one. Nikki says, I saw this last night and loved this. Yeah, there was a few other good tweets that came through as well. And I think it's about time that actually you had a go at these Christmas cracker jokes. John says, was that saying Frank Carson? Oh, yeah. Was he Irish or something? It's the way you tell them. I can't remember. It rings a vague bell there somewhere. So let's get your text tool. And if you can come up with a Christmas cracker joke, then please do. And if you can't, then that's absolutely fine. Or somebody's just drawing on the screen instead. Maybe you've got artistic creativity, if not something else. So do go and have a little idea. What have we got for a Christmas cracker joke? Somebody's put here, what did Cinderella say when her photos didn't arrive? One day my prince will come. Oh, dear me, that's a pretty poor one. What is it that my brother used to say as a kid? He would say, oh, now that's it. Now you can tell I didn't prepare this earlier on because I'm trying to remember it. Oh, yes. What do you call a woodpecker without a beak? A headbanger. Oh, yeah, let's move on. So that was my middle brother had come up with that quite a long time ago. So I think we should go from one poor joke and humour to another. We are going to go into, we brought this back by popular demand. Well, Debbie told me to. We're going to bring back Complete the Blank TJ headline. So what we've got, again, we've got our drawing tool, so you can write with your pen if you're on your tablet, or you can write with your T-text tool. And what I'd like you to do is have a look at this headline, and then somewhere on the screen, what's the missing word? Be as funny as you think you can be, if you can be that funny. So let's bring in some thoughts and ideas. What do you think can you come up with? What can you come up with here? Let me play some music whilst I think. Okay, so what have we got here? How chatbots can make HR departments actually work. Oh, that's a bit close to the bone. How chatbots can make HR departments funny, liking that one. And how chatbots make HR departments Order pizza. I think we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm all up for the ordering pizza. The answer is actually more human, which is really interesting. What about this one? 6 interview questions that reveal true... what? Off you go. Okay, what have we got? What have we got? 6 interview questions that reveal true nature of human beings. 6 interview questions that reveal true vampires. Oh, I'm liking that one with the interview with a vampire link. And 6 interview questions that reveal your inner animal. Okay, and the answer is leadership potential. What have we got on this next one? See what you can come up with on this. Okay, so what have we got? Webinars, some lessons learned. Yeah, I think I need a few of those. Christmas with the in-laws, some lessons learned. It's an interesting time of year. And John's laughing at that in the chat window. And some lessons learned are often forgotten. Oh, yeah, it's sad but true. This one was actually all about unconscious bias. Okay, we've got 2 more left to go. What can you come up with for this one? Oh, what brilliant answers. 5 tips for exerting influence without breaking arms, or 5 tips for exerting influence without farting. I absolutely adore that one. And somebody's added just underneath that, lifting a finger. Absolutely brilliant. The answer is not nearly as funny as that because it's without an authority position. These are obviously all answers off of the TJ website. Okay, here is the last one. Off you go. So we've got a couple of you who've said how to build a sense of humour in the workplace. I'm all for a bit of fun and lightness and having a laugh, so I really like that one. How to build a sense of Christmas cheer in the workplace is another one. And I don't know how cheeky this one is, but how to build a sense of people doing their actual job in the workplace. Yeah, I bet we've all had issues like that. And the answer that we've got here is community in the workplace. These are all articles that were on the TJ website, which brings me into our next section, which is all of those articles were actually from the top 10 website articles of this year. So they were the from 10 through to 6. And what we're going to do now is have a look at what were the top 5. Here we go.
Hi there, Pop Figures. Here are your TJ Online Top 5 articles of 2018. Starting at number 5, 7 tips for effective employee performance evaluation. And at number 4, neuroscience and the learning brain. Is there a better way? As we move into the top 3, we have at number 3, why language learning will be top of the corporate agenda in 2018. Just missing out at the top spot at number 2 is 5 benefits of leadership and management apprenticeships. And at the top of the pile, your number 1 TJ Online article of 2018 is Near and Far Transfer of Learning.
Oh, brilliant. Pia's put in the chat window, lol, 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 laughing away there. Mark has said, brilliant. Thank you so much for that. That was actually my other half. He did that last night for me. He is a party DJ. So he's got that party DJ voice, hasn't he? So thank you very much for that. So what we're looking at here is we've got the top 5 articles. And if you have a look at the top right of the screen, you've actually got a link there to the top 10 website articles. So on our website, you can go and have a look at the links to all of those top 10. But I wonder, what is it that you're seeing here? From the 5 that we just looked through, we've got the 5 here, you've got the link to the top 10. What is it that you're seeing in terms of a trend? So, John, let's come to you first, because you actually put this list together. Are you able to unmute, or is there drilling going on in the background?
I think everything's okay.
Hooray.
Can you hear me?
So, John, first of all, how do you know these are the top 10 articles, and what do they mean?
What do they mean? Deep question, Joe. Well, this is from Google Analytics. So rather than them being our personal favourites or say most commented, these are the ones that have got the most traffic across the board. So through organic traffic, but also returning visitors, and also people who use the TJ website a lot. So it's a decent spectrum of people who've been clicking on these articles and reading them. And yeah, this is the top 10. And the trend, do you want me to talk about trends? I think what's quite interesting is that none of it's really based around too much around business or technology. It's all very personal, and it's very much the human side of learning, which I think is a really, really great thing, actually, because we can often be distracted, and have been for a while, about new kind of techniques and tips and technologies, and these are all about kind of community. They're about things like neuroscience and delving a bit into that. And the top spot from Paul Matthews is his current focus, which is learning transfer. So it's obviously a topic which has struck a nerve with the TJ audience, and yeah, it's a decent top 10, I think, this year.
Yeah, really good. Thank you so much for your insight there. And we'll come to Debbie in just a moment and see what her thoughts are. In the chat window, some well done Simons and some brilliant Simons. Thank you. I will pass that on to him. He will be very happy. Pia says, I think these are quite diverse. You've got a really good point there, Pia. Because what we can see here is we've got transfer of learning, leadership and apprenticeships. We've got language, neuroscience, effective employee evaluation. And then if you look at the rest of that top 10, well, actually what we've got are things like community, influence, unconscious bias, interview questions, and then more about the technology with the chatbots. So I think that's a really great point. Mark says, transfer of learning. I really like Paul Matthews' work and his new, you're having real trouble typing there, aren't you, Mark? But no problem at all. His new book. Yeah, so that's the one that John was just referencing there. And Debbie says there are links with transfer and impact and a perennial problem of leadership. Debbie, let's get you unmuted and tell us a little bit more.
Hi there. Yeah, I mean, it is a varied group of articles, and I think it does represent a lot of what people are struggling with. I mean, transfer is undoubtedly the holy grail. If you can get line managers to help people transfer any learning to the job, then probably L&D have done their job and it's time to step away. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because managers are so busy with so much else that coaching and developing people is often a long way down their agenda. I think key leadership is a perennial problem for whatever reason. We have so many articles, we have so many people suggesting articles around leadership and how to solve the problems of leadership that sometimes my head spins. I also am aware that we get more applications into our awards from leadership for leadership than anything else. So it's obviously a real problem in so many organisations who are trying to ensure that they get a culture on board where leaders are engaging with their people, but at the same time moving their business along in a very difficult and competitive workplace, and one that's really only going to get more complicated and difficult than ever next year. So I mean, yes, they are. They're a great example of the things that people are struggling with, but I think transfer and leadership is probably one of the top areas that people struggle with.
Yeah, you make some absolutely great points there, Debbie, and some people are agreeing with you in the chat window. PSRE says, yeah, it's the manager issue. And I think Mark had said that you'd made a good point about the learning transfer when you said that. He also says, damn keyboard on my phone. Mark, it's not a problem, honestly. As long as we can just about work out what you're saying.
It's entertaining.
We're just glad he's here, aren't we, Debbie?
Most definitely. We have a very, very niche group here today.
We do. And Barbara says, but ignore me. I think there's a whole load of stuff going on there. But Pia says the awards looked amazing this year. We're a little bit biased, Pia, but yeah, I think they did. For me, it was the best one we've had yet. What about for you, Debbie?
Yeah, it was very memorable. We had a fantastic new venue. I was escorted to the venue by my own personal beefeater because we held it at the Tower of London. So yes, it was a very different experience from our previous venues. But the highlight, as always, is seeing so many great L&D people being recognised for the hard work that they put in and the real difference that they make to the people in the organisation and organisational success. There was so much variety and innovation and commitment to their role, the people in their organisation, that you couldn't help but be impressed.
Absolutely. And speaking of being impressed, I think it's about time we moved on to the caption competition. I really love the caption competition because it's all about having a look at the pictures, having a bit of fun. And what we've got going on here was that we've got John on the left, who's standing up there. He is our editor of online. We've got me in the middle, looking very stern. I've put my stern face on. We do have another one in this series where I'm smiling my face off. We've got Malika, who is our business development manager, on the right, and we have the always regal Debbie sitting at the front. So let's go and have a bit of fun with this. What are your Christmas caption competition highlights that you can share about this picture? I've got a couple of others as well. So we'll come back to you in a second. We'll give you a little bit of time to go and write some of your captions. Thank you for your contributions. So we've got, if we start top right, we've got TJ Royalty, kind of liking that one. Moving around top left, we've got the new lineup for season 3 of The Crown. And then over on the right in green, off with their heads. Hopefully I've given that one just about what it needs in terms of a little bit of acting oomph in there. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody. And this was another one in that series. This is the lovely Debbie, who is our editor-in-chief. She wasn't terribly sure about being in this picture, but we kind of made her. She had to. So let us know what your caption ideas are for this one. Some other good ones here. Starting top left, am I too late for the Harry Potter auditions? I get a sense that might be our John. I don't know if that's his sense of humour or not, but that is very funny. Thank you very much. At the bottom, Jo might be the webinar queen, but Debbie is the royal monarch, absolutely in a place where she deserves to be in charge of absolutely everything. And then on the right-hand side, we've got some historical quotes coming through here. Let them eat cake. And I definitely did eat cake last time I was at Debbie's. It was delicious. So good ones there. And John says in the chat window, it wasn't me. It's a good one, though. Excellent. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, Debbie, for posing for the picture. I know you didn't want to do that. And Debbie said, Royal Monarch? Yeah, that's what they're saying. Your people have spoken. Okay, now John didn't know I was putting this one in. So let's see what you can come up with. This is me and John at that same awards. And John says, I love this picture. Me too. There was a bit of a series of it, we were just rocking out, I think, at this point. What can you come up with? Brilliant. Let's have a look at what we've got. We have White Stripes tribute band snapped crashing the TJ Awards. Very good. What we've got, I really don't sing, but let me see if I can do this justice. Rock the mic, baby. No, I really didn't do that justice. I should just read it out. Rock the mic, baby. We've got John and Jo, Rock TJ. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Rock TJ, liking it. And I'm not what have we got here? You're singing different songs, FFS. And if you don't know what FFS means, I'm not saying that on the recording. And knowing how I sing, we probably would be singing different songs. And then the Carpenters, after a few beers, and they've broken to Selfridges. I think that's my favourite one. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. And that's really kind of us coming towards the end of what it is that we are doing here on our TJwow virtual Christmas party. But I do want to kind of, before we finish up properly, I do want to come to Debbie and to John, and just to get a kind of a sense of, you know, a year ending, a year beginning, you know, looking forward to the future and see what we can come up with. Let's come to John first of all. John, we've had a bit of a laugh, but also we've had a bit of a chat today about some of the various things that are going on in the L&D industry and some of the highlights. What are you taking from the year and then into next year?
That's another big question. It's been a very busy year and we've all worked really hard, and I've had a really good time working with you and Debbie and at the events we've been to. And like I said about the various things, the changes which have been made, and the partnerships that we're going to kind of work on right from the start of January onwards, and with YouTube and everything like that, I'm just really excited to do more with TJ and get out to more people next year. I think it's been a good year.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, John. It goes straight back at you. We said this on the podcast, didn't we? That it was just lovely to work with each other. And Barbara is referencing what you're saying there. She says events have been so important for me this year. And whether that's a big conference like Online Educa, like Learning Technologies, or whatever it might be in your country or where you're going to, it could actually be a local meetup. I've got some people I know through LinkedIn that happen to live in the same county as me, and once a month we meet up in the pub and have a chat, and that's really good fun as well. We get a lot out of that. We've built those relationships that are really cool. So I think that's a lovely thing. Thank you very much, John. And let's go to Debbie. Debbie, let's get you unmuted. And I know you're looking forward to a year ahead as well. What's your summary of what's been going on here?
It flies by so very quickly. I mean, it's been a really good year for TJ Online because John has been doing some really sterling work and developing new ideas, new products, new ideas, and also expanding our reach with our digital offering. So for me, that's been one of the highlights of this year. Also, the awards is always a highlight because it's so lovely to see so many of our community gather together celebrating their success. But those are the highlights of 2018. For 2019, again, I'll be looking forward to the awards, but one of the things I would really like to do for 2019, and which we are planning, is to actually gather some of that intelligence, that know-how from those award winners and actually disseminate it out to our audience through the online podcasts and interviews that we're doing, but maybe also through some breakfast briefings and events. As Barbara said, she really enjoys events, and I do think people still value the face-to-face. So perhaps we're aiming to do a little bit more of that this year, this coming year. But it's been a great year, and it's always a delight to work with two such wonderful colleagues as Joe and John.
Oh, Debbie, you are too kind. And I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, not only for being on this TJwow, for being on all of the other TJwows. It just wouldn't be the same without all of you guys. We are moving to the 4 p.m. time slot next year because what we want to do is just kind of usher in a new audience. We've done 2.5 years of 10 a.m. UK time. We just thought it was a bit of time for a change. We do have a growing US audience. We want to welcome them on in and sort of obviously all of those time zones. And I just want to really reflect that I've had a great year. I've had great fun, lots of learning, lots of mistakes. Some of those for TJ, some of those sadly kind of my own. But it's all about let's build this community, let's learn together, and let's move forward in the future. So thank you very much indeed. Do your last hand rub by the fire and enjoy Christmas and see you next year. Bye bye everybody.